Welcome back to
Living Understaffed.
Wow. Hello, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Erika.
And we are Living Understaffed.
The podcast about not having enough hours in the day or hands to do it all, and when your best just isn't very good.
Welcome back, guys. We've already started off the day with an understaffed type of moment. I did post a video actually on social this morning 20 minutes ago, because I'm like still moving into the new house from being sick for going on 8 weeks. And I like had a trip to Romania in the middle of that. And so I'm go to the old house, grabbed a bunch of stuff to take to Goodwill, packed up my car, took it to Goodwill. I'm driving back to the house to go pick up a load to bring to the new house. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's 12:36. I'm supposed to record in 20 minutes with Erika. So I was like, fuck. So I rush home. I'm texting Erika like, I'm on the way. We're in it to win it. I just got to put on some makeup. And then she texted me, was like, oh, I thought we were recording in another hour from now. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's great. Yeah.
But
yeah, my entire, I think it's been a while since we've been able to record, and like for some reason I'm just not getting my messenger notifications, which is our communication platform of choice. So that is just like, I'll look at it and I'm like, oh, that was like 4 days ago. I'm so shitty. And also yeah, it's just been, I mean, I was sick. And I went to Washington. So we've both been literally physically not available to record, and also just more understaffed than usual.
yeah. So we are back this week, and episode is releasing a few days late because Miss Erika was sick. So that's there's only so much we can do as human beings. But this episode today, I do want to talk about, of course, we always talk about understaffed stories. That's a norm. Hey, welcome to the show. We talk about how we ourselves are understaffed. And I feel like as far as our normal demographic, this is a pretty consistent feeling, emotion, mental state that we are in. And the goal is uplifting and, maybe sharing some stories from other people that have submitted, and basically just, I don't know, being empathetic towards those people, towards ourselves, so that we can maybe get better and maybe not be so understaffed in the future, hopefully near future. Today, we're also going to talk about the books that we're currently reading, because we love reading. Huge thing. It's actually is that how we met? That's actually how we met, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yes, because Stephanie brought me to the book club meeting.
Yes.
All those years ago.
Oh my God. Have you talked to her? I haven't talked to her since she had the baby and they PCS'd.
I haven't either. And he's like 2.
He's
Almost.
2? Oh my God. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the books we're currently reading.
He might not be quite 2, but yeah.
Jesus. And then we're also today's main topic, we're going to talk about worst first dates or bad ideas for first dates. So I think it's going to be pretty entertaining. Yeah. So, Erika, being sick, new job, you called in. How was this week?
Oh, understaffed. So backing up, I went to Washington State, which is where my family is from. It's where my family lives. And I went and I visited, and as much as I love my family, there's always drama. So there was just so much. Anyway, I did get to see everyone. I was there for like 5 days. It's also very difficult to get to. So, and with the time change, it's just absolutely heinous, because it's like there's a flight. I usually get a layover. I'll pay extra for not more than one layover. I try to get like a straight like a nonstop flight, but because it's an island, I have to get there before a certain time. It's a whole thing. And then when I leave, like I can't leave too early because I have to leave time to take the ferry and get down to the, anyway, it's a whole thing. It always takes like at least 24 hours to get there. And I'm just very tired and then the time change is awful. And I got there and it was actually nice to see everyone. It was just like I got to see my nephew, who is one of my favorite human beings on the entire planet. And right now he's 10, so he's an absolute savage. Um, Specifically, he kept calling my mom poor old frail Nana, which was oops, sorry, I'm an asshole.
Oh,
That was my
that.
alarm to wake up from my nap.
Oh, sorry.
No, I didn't take a nap. It's okay.
Oh.
But yeah, he kept referring to my mom as poor old frail Nana, which was hilarious to me. Um, Also, for those of you who have like maybe you have kids or like you have nieces and nephews, my mom made my 10-year-old nephew a steak dinner.
First of all,
My mom, right? Right? I if I if I even asked for steak when I was a kid, there is no, my mom would have been mad for me asking. She would be like, who do you think we don't have steak money. Meanwhile, my nephew is like, Nana, I really like steak. And my mom's like, oh, I'll make a special trip. Even after he calls her old all the time. Anyway, he's very cute though.
for him,
Then I
for
came
like,
back.
for
Yeah.
being able to tell a grown ass woman, you're cute, you're old and frail. Not even cute, you're just old and frail. So, bitch, make me a steak dinner. Like, first of all,
Yes.
goddamn, brutal.
I know. I know. Uh and then what else? I don't know. It's kind of a blur. I did a lot of things, but I got to hang out with both my sisters and my mom, and that was all great. And then I came back and I came in really late and I immediately just went to work the next day and it was terrible. And
Difficult.
then, yep, fast forward to last weekend. And I was supposed to go to Nashville and I didn't because I was sick and I couldn't keep anything down for 4 days. And I was like, this is me. You and I are both like this. I'm like, it's just a 24-hour bug. I'll get over it. I'll be fine. I'll drive. Everything will be good. I'll be fine. No, I was driving. I had to like go get something. It was like a 20-minute drive home and I had to pull over to throw up in some bushes because I'm classy.
Dude.
And I was like, I can't. And it had been so long since I'd like eaten anything or been able to keep anything down. I'm like shaking and I'm getting like tunnel vision. I'm like, I cannot drive 6 hours tonight. I cannot. So I stayed at home and I couldn't go to Nashville. And I'm still so bummed about it. I'm so bummed. But I
Well,
think
hold
it's
on.
like,
Nashville was this like a girls' trip weekend? What was Nashville supposed to be?
yeah, it was a girls' trip. Some of the friends that I had, there's a group of us. We met when I first moved to Missouri. We all moved to Missouri about the same time. And the youngest one of us turned 30. And it was her 30th
Oh.
birthday party. She wanted to go to Nashville. And so anyway.
And Nashville is only 6 hours for
Boo.
you?
Knoxville is like 5.5 hours, and another one of us lives in Knoxville. So I was just going to spend the night at her house. Then we were going to both go to Nashville.
Nashville is like 6 hours for me.
Um, Girls trip?
100%. And I would leave after work or even leave a little bit early on Friday, go to an Airbnb, preferably with a hot tub,
Yes.
and hang out for the weekend. We could record, we could go out, we could just enjoy, and then both of us drive home on Sunday.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Why you've been gone for over a
I don't know
year.
why. I don't know why we. I don't know why we didn't think of this before.
Okay, well,
Because
when we
Nashville is like 8 hours from me.
okay, well then I could meet you in Knoxville. Like, girl,
Yeah, exactly.
okay, so for listeners, this is like I am a we both are. We both are pretty big advocates of self-care, right? Um
Hmm.
I am a huge fan. I started doing
Caveat:
this.
we're both bad at it.
Not wrong. I started doing this a few years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that hopefully once a year I take a weekend, I rent an Airbnb, usually with a hot tub, and I shut my phone off. Like, I bring a few books with me, I bring my iPad, Netflix, whatever, but usually a hot tub, and then I just sleep. Or I go hiking, or I like something just for me, just to get away, just to kind of unwind and unplug a little bit. So, why would we not do a weekend together? Not fill it with a bunch of stuff. Like if we go to Nashville, I don't want to like get tickets for Grand Ole Opry and go do all the things and then go hiking and then shopping and like I don't want to do that because I'm selfish. I want to spend time with you and spend a little bit of downtime.
Yeah.
So,
Do things in the morning and then make sure we have time for naps.
yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And then maybe go out for a
Sounds like a
drink
plan.
for dinner or something.
Yeah.
But then home early
Yes.
enough to like sleep in. Amen.
Yes.
Okay, we are going to work on that after we record because that's got to happen. I would appreciate it.
100%.
So, anyway, you
100%.
didn't go to Nashville because you were ill. My bad. I interrupted.
Yes. I think now I am not a like spiritual person. I don't believe that things always happen for a reason. I do, however, believe that if you're like redlining cortisol for long enough, your body is going to be like, "Hey girl, um
What you doing?
stop." Yeah. And that's usually when I become incredibly ill. And I feel like that's kind of what happened. Like my body was just like, you can't you cannot do this anymore.
This isn't how it
Uh
works.
yes. I was also feeling incredibly unhinged, so I dyed my hair again and I cut my own bangs. And they turned out, the worst part is that they turned out great. I'm like, I have no business cutting my own bangs. I do not need any I do not need any encouragement to cut my own hair. I don't. Here
I
I am.
do bang maintenance. I've had bangs for a couple month now, and
Mhm.
I am not going to go spend $12 for someone to trim my bangs when I need them to be trimmed. So I do it myself,
Yeah,
and I think they're fine. They're fine.
they look great.
Got a little
I'm a
wisp
huge
over
fan of
here.
the bang.
Me too.
Yes. I will always, I'm not the person to ask for uh I'm not mindful. I'm not very mindful and I am not very demure. I will tell you I will tell you to cut your bangs. I will tell you to order that second drink. I will tell you to text your crush. I will tell you to buy that expensive croissant. I am not the friend to help you make rational decisions. I will always advocate for the fun decision.
To- okay, I'm gonna kick in as your friend on this one. Not every time do you support the fun decision. There are times like with me, you've even been like, girl, you don't need that in your life. Don't fucking call him. So
That's fair.
we'll
Okay,
we'll
that's
give you
fair.
some credit on that. Like give yourself some fucking grace because yes, you do advocate for some of those decisions, but you are also the good friend that you're like, bitch, don't call him. Got it. So
That's true. I have yes, there have been times where I'm like, we hate him. Excuse me.
let's this is great for our listeners too because I've seen it all over social media, right? We are very much the friend of like, okay, here's the story about this coworker, this person I met, this person I went on a date with, blah 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 blah. and Erika or myself, vice versa, will jump in and be like, do we hate him today? We hate him? Oh, perfect. Fucking block that number. No. Actually, don't block it. As soon as they call back, I want you to text me so that I know that he's still trying to get in touch. Like, 100%. Like, that, in it to win it. Yes. So,
But moral of the story, as usual, everything else in my life in shambles. Work going great. Excellent. I have a meeting with my boss next week. We're going over like how to improve my like little section and the things that I should be doing and how to
oh, I
I
like
essentially
that.
have like I know she's given me control over essentially like how I do my job and the systems that I'm in charge of and like you know I don't have obviously I don't have like carte blanche like but if I'm like, hey, this is how I want you to submit your stuff for this thing, she's like, yeah, great. They can come to me and I'll just tell them to
Do it.
do it the way that you want it. So she's like, okay, like, let's get together and like go over everything so that I know what your expectations are of them and everything. And like the information that you need so you can keep track of everything so I can make sure that you're getting this stuff. And I'm like, look at
Okay.
me
Doing the things.
doing the things. Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
I feel like I know. I feel like you and I are always the same. It's like, how are you? Terrible. Thanks for asking, but my job is going great.
Yeah. Things I am on the same level. The job is absolutely fantastic right now. Um the we're on we had a few weeks of no new students coming in, so like that gave us time to like catch up on a few things, and like we got so much stuff done for the inspection that we are like we're knocking it out, like we're ahead of the game. um I think I mentioned it on last episode that I've been building a database for the office, and I'm a little behind on like where I thought that I would be over the summer, but 2 weeks off for vacation and sick, and we were very busy, we had the inspection, blah blah blah. So the last like couple of weeks of a little bit of downtime has actually sort of caught me up to the point that I thought that I would be. I'm still way behind on like where I thought I was when I started the project, which is fine. But yeah, like work going super, super well right now. Also, on a totally nerdy level, we all got upgraded to 27-inch monitors. And I put stories up on my Snapchat yesterday because I was like, I did like the before, during, and after photos. And I was like, oh, she pretty. Oh, she pretty. And they are nice. They're Samsung. Oh, thank you very much. So that was like on a nerd level. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get so much stuff done with this 27-inch one. I'm not gonna get more stuff done, let's get real, but it's gonna look nice. Like
I'm so fucking jealous right now.
government funding going to where it's supposed to be. Thank you so much. 27-inch monitors, thank you very much.
Welcome to Chatsunami, a variety podcast that discusses topics from gaming and films to anime and general interests.
Previously on Chatsunami, we've analysed what makes a good horror game, conducted a retrospective on Pierce Brosnan's run as James Bond, and listened to us take deep dives into both the Sonic and Halo franchises.
Also, if you're an anime fan, then don't forget to check us out on our sub-series, Chatsunami, where we dive into the world of anime. So far, we've reviewed things like Death Note, Princess Mononoke, and the hit Beyblade series.
If that sounds like your cup of tea, then you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and all good podcast apps.
As always, stay safe,
Stay awesome, and most importantly,
Stay hydrated.
Let's just discuss that, like, we've all been on those dates where the guy immediately out the gate is slapping your ass or pinching your ass. On a playful level, that's fun and adorable. On a respectful level, get your fucking hands off of me. Because we haven't made it that
Yes.
far yet. I just met you. And this guy is like that. Hasn't done that. He's put his arms around me, he's held my hand, he's put his hand on the small of my back. And like, listeners, I do not have a small ass. So it's out there. But he has been very respectful, and very appreciative. What I really am grateful about, and I'm going to mention this on the show.
Can we just talk about the fact that we're like, and he was respectful? Wow.
I
Because
want
the
to talk
bar
about
is
it.
on the floor. The bar is in hell.
There was a moment, one of these nights that I was like, oh, I just crawled into bed. I think it was Tuesday. And he was like, oh, well, do you want company? And I was like, ugh. It was like 9:45, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, I haven't shaved my legs in weeks. There's dog hair all over this bed because I've been dog sitting. The room is a fucking mess because I'm still moving in. There's clothes everywhere because I got the first order of that Temu order. And I'm just like, probably not a good idea tonight. Like, probably not. So then he like gave me shit like, oh, you're probably seeing someone else. No, that's not the case. It's that my room looks like trash. And like,
Thinking about this actually, and I don't actually know why I was thinking about it, but I think it's like, because I've definitely been in situations where like someone or like a guy would, especially when I was younger, I just like always felt like I always had to make myself available, and like I was just, like just didn't, when I was single, I just did like, okay, like I'm available. Like I was absolutely that girl where like anytime I was into somebody, I was like down bad for them, right?
for sure.
And like at this point in my life, and this is true for like just friends as well, is like not necessarily like matching their energy, but I want different things from different people. Like, okay, there's like if I have a type, it's blue collar dudes with a drinking problem. I swear to God, if
And a
I were to like,
mustache.
and a mustache, and if you have a mullet and like pit vipers, I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying I have a type, and it's visceral. I can't do anything about it. And again, like it's happened before where I'm like, oh, hey. I also come from a really small town. So like there's a lot of people that work on the oil rigs in Alaska, or like fishermen, or like do construction because they work for the city or the county or whatever. And I went back home and I was like, okay, well.
There it is. There it is.
There it is. And then I'll be talking to Emma and I'm like, my youngest sister's name is Emma.
Yeah.
I don't know if she wants her name in the podcast, but whatever. She'll be okay. And she'll like talk about all the ones that she's like partied with. I was like, yep. I just look at them and I'm like, yeah. But anyway, you want one thing from the people that are your physical type, right?
Yes.
And then when you meet someone and you don't want that to be all there is, like you want it to be more of like a slow burn situation, it's different. And like in my head, I'm like I was just sort of thinking like, is it fair in quotes? But like if you want to, like, to me it's like you want to savor it, right? Like, do you want to savor it with this person, or like, but also because women in general are conditioned that if a guy doesn't want to have sex with you, then like there's something wrong with you. And that's not always true. So it's like this like war in your brain of like, do I want to savor this? Is this something that I want to enjoy for an extended period of time, or do I just want what I want right now? Because both of those things are totally valid, as long as everyone is aware.
Yeah.
But also getting over the insecurity, and like listeners, Sarah and I are also not small people, and like being a fat girl in general, two things happen all the time, which are dudes just assume that we're just grateful for their attention, which is
Incorrect.
not true. Yeah. Or they have this weird fat woman fetish, which is equally as uncomfortable. And like part of that is like which one of those is feeding this thing? Or I'm like, can we just get to the part where I can gauge whether or not you're one of those, if it's one of those things, so that
Yeah.
I know and I can move on or not. Sarah and I are also the least patient people in the entire world. We're like,
First of all, not wrong,
what do you?
but like, all right, there was a first date. Okay, things got hot and heavy, and
Mhm.
this motherfucker. Okay, my confidence level has grown tenfold in the last couple of years, and I love myself. I love my body, curvy, fat, whatever you want to call it. Right? I've got a pooch, as
Mhm.
many of us thick girls do. This motherfucker.
And also the most glorious ass I've ever seen.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh this dude decided to grip and play with my pooch. Like grip. And I literally looked at him and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, it's just so sexy." And I'm like, "Absolutely fucking not. Don't
Nope.
fucking do that."
No. Ew.
I
Mm-mm.
it's not even necessarily an you thing. I'm just like, don't fucking do that. Like that is a part of me. That is a part of me that has taken years to accept about my body. Don't fucking do that. Please don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like
Yep.
listeners, I would like to know, like, are there women out there, because there might be, are there women out there that are like, absolutely fucking play with my fupa? I'm not one of them. I am
I'm not one of them
mm-mm,
either.
no. So yeah, he did that, and I immediately knew this was not moving on to a second date. No, sorry. He kind of did that to himself, outside of this
Yeah. That's
conversation. But
also not a first date activity,
thank you,
just in general.
thank you.
Like,
He doesn't know anything about me, so on what level did he think that that was okay, or was he trying to gauge it? I don't honestly know. But that also was his ticket to exit my life. Thank you.
when I was younger, younger me spent a lot of time with men that were a lot older than I was. Like, that was just
Yeah.
also, again, living in a small town, there's really the dating pool is not very big. So you kind of
Mm.
so that was also a little bit part of it. But there were definitely a few where I'm just like, where yeah, they would be like, "I love your natural body." And I'm like, "Mm." And I was like 22, 21 at the
Mm.
time, and I'm like, "Mm." So I was like I'm a lot less insecure now than I
Yeah.
was then for sure, and I'm just like, "You just said the worst fucking thing you possibly could say."
Yeah.
'Cause then I'm like, mm-mm. And also I just don't, again, it's one of those things where like, whether you're complimenting me on something or not, if you're doing it in like a gross fetishy way, I'm gonna be turned off. It's along the same lines of like, or at least to me, it makes me feel like it makes me feel objectified. And also it gives me the same yucky feeling that like when someone says like, you're so brave, when I like
Oh.
wear something that a non-fat person would wear.
Mm.
I was in my hometown and I wore a crop top and the old people were shook. Let me tell you. It was
Yeah, but that's small
they
town
were
mentality. That's small town mentality for sure. My hometown would be the same.
yeah. Yes. Or like um when someone's like, "Oh, you're so pretty." Like, you can be pretty and fat at the same time, actually. So to me, it sort of gives me the same sort of
Ick.
icky feeling as that.
It's the
And that
ick.
doesn't mean that the intent is the same from every single one of those things. but it's just like they think it's a compliment and it's not. And I think that's why I just am like, I don't have time for this. If you haven't like, if you can't think through what I consider like a basic thing, like, and also I guess I've been fat my whole life, so I've had a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. I don't want to teach you. I don't want to tell you why that's a shitty thing to say.
Yeah. Have you ever watched This Is Us?
No.
Okay, so
I should.
It's
Everyone
from,
says that I would love it.
It's from the Shondaland realm, and we all know that Shonda is, you know, absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Yes.
I watched her TED Talk.
Oh, she's amazing. So, Kate
She is
the sister. She's one of the main characters, and she goes to a I actually don't know the name of the support group, but I don't know if it's like an overweight support group or a weight loss support group, or it's in that vibe of things. I don't know if you know the name of it or not. But anyway, there's a pretty skinny girl that goes, and Kate like freaks out on her a few different times throughout the show where she's just like, all right, you know, and they actually end up becoming friends. The skinny girl becomes a bridesmaid for her. Like it becomes a thing. It's great. But there was one rant that Kate goes on where she's talking about her recent struggles and like her recent wins also. And then she kind of like tears up. I can't quite remember what she's talking. I think maybe she's talking about the engagement or the wedding. And then she looks over at the skinny girl and she's like, can you just say something stupid about how you're feeling and whatever it is that you're going to complain about because you're so skinny? Can you just please say the stupid thing so that people can stop looking at me? And it makes me laugh so hard every time because then the camera turns to her, the skinny girl, and she goes, so I think my wrists are getting fat. Fuck off, dude. Like
yeah.
There are times, and I have dealt.
Everyone.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You go. Finish your story.
I have dealt with like the thick girl thing my almost my entire life. Like I had an ass starting at like 11, right? Like people in school were like, "Yep, that's Sarah." And then like big legs. Like I've had thick legs for a long time, and like what makes me laugh are the people that are like, well, you wouldn't understand. And it's like, but I do. I've been there, you know, and we've all had self-esteem problems, and we've all had, you know, like we've all been there to a certain extent. We've all kind of had like those seasons in our lives. And I kid you not, like I just turned 34, and like, send it. Like I feel so good about my life now compared to when I was 15 and I was, you know, 70 pounds lighter. I don't care. Like, if you're going to play with my fupa, cool, but you're not going to do it a second time. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining. The dating world right now is like a cesspool. And if you find those gems that are out there, it's like, all right, cool. So one of the things, I know we're kind of on the same topic, but some of those like not worst first dates, but some of those like first date fails is what I'm going to call it. Recently I went on a date to a movie theater, and I've talked to a few people this week, but like like I need your opinion. Is a first date to a movie at a movie theater, is that a good first date idea or a bad first date idea? And listeners, like, I want to know some of that feedback, and I'll put it out there as a post. But I genuinely want to know the answers from different people, because it was actually very entertaining. I have, I think that I have a little bit of hearing loss, and so the person that I was with, we had a short conversation while the previews were going in the beginning, and he asked if, you know, do I talk during movies? Do I not? Like, what's, you know, what do I do versus what he does, right? And so I was like, oh, I'll talk a little bit, and I cackle, and I like movies. And so he said the same thing, but he has kind of a deep voice, and he has kind of an accent, and so I had to ask him a few times of like, what did you just say? And my luck, the movie would quiet down, and I would be like, what did you just say? And the movie's really quiet, so the whole theater heard me say this. So then we would start laughing, and like, it was on an entertainment level, it was really a pretty fun first date, but I've talked to several people this week and they do not agree that a movie is a good first date unless there's some kind of like precursor event, like getting a drink or two or going to dinner or something and then doing the movie where there's more of a conversation. I don't know. What do you think?
So I have two opinions. Because I always do. So I guess first thing is I agree. Like if you don't know someone, you just show up and you go to the movie, you're just sitting next to somebody that you don't know, and that can be weird. Like that would make me feel weird. So if you like have like a couple drinks or whatever and you get to know the person, then you go to the movie, you're a little bit more like comfortable and you can, like you said, you can ask those questions like, do you talk during the movie or whatever. But at the same time, if you do dinner in a movie or drinks in a movie and you don't vibe, then it's like you can't really get out of it. Whereas if you go to the movie first and then you have drinks or whatever after, you can be like, oh, sorry, I'm really tired. I thought I would be able to stay up. I have a work meeting. So it gives you an easier out, I guess.
Well, but on the flip side
it
of
also
that,
depends on the movie.
Well, that is factual. On the flip side of that, if drinks and whatnot doesn't vibe, you have a roughly 2-hour window to not say a fucking thing because the movie's playing. So you're just like, all right,
yeah,
this is where we shut the fuck up. And then I'm going to go home afterwards, probably by myself.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
So, on a
I also don't hear very well, so I am absolutely that person. Like I've never had good hearing, and I am the absolute queen of someone being like, hey girl, hey, and I'm like, what? What? So I get it.
Yeah. Well, and then on a funny level, and I've mentioned this on a couple different episodes now, I'm moving into a new house. And so pre going to Romania, I was trying to move into the new house and I was sick. And so my productivity levels were not high whatsoever. So I was split in between two different houses. And then I was split between a third house because I was dog sitting for a couple of weeks too. So there was just, my brain was all over the place. And then I went on leave for 2 weeks. I was in 3 different countries in 2 weeks. Just on the way home, I was in 11 different airports, plus layovers. Sarah's brain was not in it. Like, by the time I got back from Romania, I took the day off afterwards, after all of the flying and everything, and I literally rotted in my bed for the entire day. And initially, the plan was to use that day to also finish moving into the new house, and that did not happen. And I'm glad for it because I needed the rest. So, oh shit, what was the point of this? Moving into the new house. So, this date happened last weekend, and I had a little bit more energy. I'm finally getting out of this sick level. I'm finally like starting to breathe a little bit more. I'm starting to like, all right, cool. I have more energy every day. And so I had taken a couple of trips to the old house to pack up some things and move it to the new house. And so I went on this date. So in the back of my car is a giant ass black trash bag that's stuffed with clothes. So it's a huge trash bag. And then there was a couple of totes, there's a few boxes. And so he walks me out to my car, and we had a good time. Walks me out to my car, we're kind of talking for a minute, and I put my purse in the passenger seat of the car so all the lights turn on the interior. You can see all of this stuff. He immediately is like, do you live in your car?
Mind your business.
First of all, no, I don't live in my car. Second of all, it wouldn't be your business if I did. Third of all, I'm moving into a house. Like, come on. Come on. So that was pretty funny as far as like towards the end of the date, like, oh, do you live in your car? No, do you? Like defensive? It was.
I also am one of those people where I have so many things in my car that I just always have in there, like my raincoat. I have a blanket. I have a lawn chair. You never know. Baby wipes, you never know when you're going to need those things. And if I didn't
Correct.
live in the South, I used to be able to keep eyeliner and mascara in my car, and I did that on accident, and they just baked.
Yeah.
Which was
See,
very
and
tragic, but
I have an extra set of stuff everywhere. So like in my car, I have a change of clothes. I have a car blanket and a car pillow that stays in there all the time because I road trip quite a bit. At work, I have an extra deodorant, an extra set of eyeliner and mascara for just in case. Also baby wipes, also tampons, also pads, all of the things like I keep at work. My backpack that I carry with me most days has eyeliner, has deodorant, has mascara, has a small kit of things. I also have a change of shoes and a change of underwear at work because you never know. And then well, there was something else. Oh,
hair
like
ties.
at my hair ties everywhere, but at my best friend's house in Kansas City, I have shampoo, conditioner, a blow dryer, a hair straightener, mascara, like a small little kit of makeup, so that cuz more than likely I always forget shit when I go to her house for the weekend. I leave that shit at her house cuz I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. So, yeah,
Yeah, I have
absolutely.
a toothbrush and toothpaste in my car too because I just forget
Yes.
sometimes. And
Oh,
then I'm like halfway to work and I'm like, ugh.
I'm going to send you a link for Walmart. Do I have any? No, I don't have any with me right away. They are little mini toothbrushes. It's like one-time use toothbrushes that has fluoride in the bristles, and they're like hard bristles, and it has a toothpick at the end of it. It is the best fucking travel hack of all time. I'll put it in the show notes even. I don't care. It is the best thing ever. So I have a small case of those in my everyday bag. I have some in the car cuz I road trip all the
Uh-huh.
time. And then it's in my travel
Yeah.
bag. So like my travel suitcase, especially for the job that I do corporate events with, every single trip I
Uh-huh.
have some. So I'll send you a picture cuz it is worth it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, because
Do we want to
I
talk
100% at least once a week I forget to put on makeup before I leave the house, or I forget to put on deodorant, or I forget to brush my teeth or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Hey sis, we've got work to do. I am so excited that we are 1 week away from our Taylor Resilience 8-week empowerment journey. We're going to work on building your resilience, embracing self-love, unlocking your fullest potential, and I just light up. I just light up because I'm so excited about it. So I hope that you join our Sis Circle. It is a safe space. It's called Sis Circle Safe Space on Facebook for that special code that's going to get this program for you for $27. You get access for $27. Of course, you can always check out the show notes below, but it is 1 week away. 1 week away. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see you there. And that's it. Take care. Love you. Bye.
I just realized that my blinds are up in the room that I'm in, and I'm definitely not wearing pants because it's hot as shit in my house right now. So everyone who's driven by has 1000%.
I just pulled out my headphones. Oh my god.
Anyway,
Do you want to go close your blinds?
no, they've already seen it. It's fine. Also, these particular neighbors, I'm gonna neighbor shame for 1 second.
Please
They
do.
have like toilets, like porcelain toilets lining their driveway as plant pots. Not even fucking joking. And look, to each their own. If you want to have 47 lawn gnomes, live your best life. That's totally fine. I'm here for it. I love weird lawns. You want to have a fucking meadow? You never want to mow your lawn? Fine. I don't give a shit. I draw the line at toilets though. So if they want to complain about me being a trashy neighbor, they can fucking bring it.
I'm going to need you to get a picture of that so I can put it in the show.
Yes, I will try to get a picture without showing anything, like, blurring out the. But yeah, it's.
I mean, I can crop out whatever needs to be cropped
whoever.
out, dude.
Yeah. Whoever decided that was a good idea seriously needs to stay off Pinterest because it's. Just.
Already,
Anyway.
we've been recording for a little over an hour. We have so many reels in this already. We have so many. I can't wait on a selfish level. I cannot wait to post the Fuhad part because I'm like, oh, if he ever saw that, I would die. Like, I would die.
I'll tag them when I send when I put the
I will die.
when
That's
I put it
fine.
on TikTok.
I'm already blushing. Look at that. I'm blushing. So I part of the the research of going into this episode, we had already talked about like bad first dates or like opinions on different things. P.S. The recent guy just texted me and said, "What's today's topic?" Because I sent him a selfie of me recording, and I'm not going to tell him.
Good, make him listen to it.
So yeah, I mean he'll figure it out, but it's fine. So anyway, I did a little bit of Googling. I looked on social media for just like worst date topics and stuff. And there's a few gems that I'm kind of like, what the hell? So this one, this one says, I went out with a guy for coffee. Wasn't the best date ever, but not awful, so I agreed to a second date. There were lots of red flags, so I nicely told him it wasn't going to work out. He asked when he could see me again. I said that I didn't want to go out again. He asked me to go to a movie with him as friends. He said he was going to come over and help me put up my garden fence. I declined. He kept planning our future together. I got my things and paid the bill. Okay. All right.
Yikes.
This one, the guy took me to a McDonald's, ate 5 hamburgers, one after another, looked on his phone, asked me if I was horny and wanted to go to his apartment so that I can do you. I politely declined and left. Oh. No, not that one.
Wow.
Here we go.
The audacity.
This lady. I actually asked him to dinner after meeting him in an airport. He was tall, handsome, seemed very nice. We went to dinner in Santa Monica. About a quarter of the way through dinner, he called the waitress over and in a very mean and aggressive way asked what was taking so long. He implied that it was her fault. I was very embarrassed and he was being loud also. She looked stunned and I was stunned. I politely as possible asked him why he did that. He stated he was the customer and she was there to serve him. I placed a 20 on the table and told him I was leaving because I would not tolerate that type of behavior toward a server. He could lose my number. I gave her a 20 as I left and told the manager it had nothing to do with the server. He did call me again. I reiterated what I said and then blocked him. And let me just throw out there that never in a million years, because I've been a waiter, a lot of people out there have served tables, never in a million years will I be with someone who is rude to waitresses, waiters, whoever is serving the table, whoever, bartenders. If you are fucking rude to them, they are a huge piece of the backbone of America, of the world. It doesn't matter. If you are rude to a server, that will be the end of that date. No, not okay. Ugh.
I feel the same way about not tipping. Like, don't be a dick.
Yes. Ugh. Okay.
Especially since some states, like I've lived in a lot of states, some states you are required to pay servers minimum wage. Most states you're not. So if you don't tip them, they don't
make anything. Yeah. This one says, I have once, years ago. Wait, what? Okay, so the first sentence is kind of funky. So years ago, the date was this bad. So bad, he didn't realize I had left the date for 3 hours. Let that sink in. It took him 3 hours to realize that I had finally left. I met my date while out one night with a guy friend for a local event called First Friday. Oh, Kansas City has something like this. Maybe this is Kansas City.
Where I live, we have a fourth Friday.
Okay. So he asked for my number after chatting to me and my friend for a bit. The next day, he called and asked me on a date. Completely normal. Arranged a time and public place to meet. I showed up early and was one of only 3 women in the entire place, and one of the women was the bartender. He showed up late, didn't recognize me. Remember, he had talked to me the day before. When we sat to talk, it was like pulling teeth. So then my guy friend showed up. It was a neighborhood bar. My date recognized him immediately. Then suddenly my date was a chatty Cathy, even introduced me to his friend. So I suggested the 3 of us play a game of pool to kill the time, tried to give the guy a chance to straighten up and show some personality. My date agreed, went to see about getting a table, basically got distracted talking to someone else, and I had enough of it and I left. 3 hours later, he calls and asked for a second date. No.
Wow.
Absolutely not.
Also, caveat, you have to be a good conversation. I'm a yapper.
Fact.
I love talking. I love it. If you can't, like, texting, like, whatever, there has to be back and forth, or I'm
Yep.
not
There needs to be
having a good time.
contribution. I can't be the only one talking. I can't.
Yeah. For the most part, like, if I hang out with somebody, it's gonna be fun because I'm fun. You're like that too. Like, of course we had a good date. I'm fun.
I was there.
But you have to, right? Like, I am a fun person, so I'm not gonna do things that aren't fun. But you have to, like, I can't be the only one carrying this date.
I totally agree. I cannot be the only one that is bringing the party to the party. Can't do it. Now I will on certain occasions because I can and I will. But like if it's a date and we're getting to know each other, I am very high
Mhm.
energy all the time. I need you to like try. Like
Yeah.
I need there to be effort and not just like
Yes.
nothing and then somebody else show up and then suddenly you're like, oh yeah, okay. So all right, let me read these. Where did the other one go? Okay. This one made me laugh. I'm going to call him Inspector Gadget. Many years ago, my doctor thought that I would be a good fit for his anesthesiologist friend, so I agreed to a blind date. I was a young lawyer. We agreed to meet at an outdoor spot near the marina, so I dressed appropriately for a date. I looked nice. The gentleman arrived wearing a trench coat. It was summer. I thought, okay, it's a little odd. The trench coat never came off. He barely spoke to me. I had to carry the whole conversation, if you can even call it that. I left as soon as I could, reasonably doing so without making a scene. Very politely told my doctor friend not to match me with anyone else. Not to match anyone else with this particular friend. He was creepy. I don't know about you, but I also wouldn't want that particular person to be my anesthesiologist. Like,
right? There are certain things that are red flags, probably because you and I were in high school at the exact same time, because we're the same age. So trench coats, fedoras, neckbeard are immediately going to be a no-go forever. I will not be elaborating or taking any comments. If that's who you are, love that for you, but absolutely not. Love that for you, not genuine.
Thank you. This is just cringe on an ex person level. We had turned up to a pizza restaurant. We ordered and sat down. Within the first 5 minutes, my ex-girlfriend walks in. She sits down beside me, looks at the girl opposite me, looked her square in the face, and said, "You can date him, but just know I love him." The girl got up, didn't say a word to either of us, and left. Like, okay, to the girl on the date, props to you for knowing, like, oh, this is trash. I will not be a part of this. But
too much drama for me, I'm out.
the balls on the ex-girlfriend. The balls. Like, is it a she can't let go thing? Or is it a it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. that's some balls or some mental health issues. Or combination thereof. I don't know, but it
Say probably both.
oh. All right, this is the last one. A friend sent me up to meet a woman that he knew. I went to a restaurant, waited and waited. Eventually, I left. I asked him what happened if he had talked to her. She apparently came in, looked at me, decided I was not her type, and left. Yeah. I'm gonna tell this story. This is the last story. So a couple years ago, I decided it was time for me to get out dating, post divorce, whatever. I got on Facebook dating, kill me, because I was going to Texas to see my family. So I was like, oh, I'll be there for 4 or 5 days. I'll get on Facebook dating and just, put myself out there a little bit. Start talking to a couple different people, get asked out on a date. And I was like, all right, you can do this. I went out, I bought a whole new outfit. I was like, all right, cool. This is fine. And he didn't live too far from where I was staying with my aunt and uncle. So I was kind of like, all right, so it'll be like a neighborhood place. I feel comfortable in this area of Dallas. Great. I looked fucking hot. I am not going to lie. I did my hair. I did my makeup. I bought some new stuff. Like, I looked fucking great. Heels, the whole 9 yards. I show up to this place and text him. I'm like, hey, I'm here. Do you want me to grab a table? Or do we want to sit at the bar? What do you want to do? Didn't hear anything. So I was like, maybe he's driving. Okay. So I waited for another few minutes inside of the restaurant. Still didn't hear anything. So then I was like, all right, I'm not just gonna fucking stand here and make a fool of myself. I'm gonna go sit in the car for a little bit. Like, let me give him a chance. I haven't been in the dating world for over 10 years. Like, let me check it out. So I sat in my car for a few more minutes and I think I got on the phone with one of my friends. I was sitting in the parking lot for maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. And I texted him one more time and was like, hey, are you able to make it tonight? Is everything okay? Still nothing. So I was like, all right, fine, fuck this. So I hadn't been, where I live is a fairly rural area of Missouri. There is not a Red Lobster within like an hour drive. But from my aunt and uncle's house, there's a nice, lovely Red Lobster like 2 minutes from the house. So I am going to take my ass out for my own date. I'm going to go get some dinner. I'm going to eat my weight in those Red Lobster biscuits and I'm going to have a couple drinks. Thank you very much. And so I very much am that person to take myself out for dinner because I am great company. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Plus, I had a great time. My server ended up being this really sweet lady whose name was Dottie. I will never forget her. She was very sweet and she had like that raspy smoker's voice. And she took care of me. Like I think I told her that I had gotten stood up for a date and she was like, looking like that? How dare he? And I'm like, girl, I know. And so I was there for probably like 2.5 hours drinking. I was reading a book. I fucking sat there and just like enjoyed and had some seafood and had a great fucking time. And then I still kind of think about that every now and then that I'm like, that was the first date that I decided to like put myself out there and I took myself out. And I am perfectly happy with that scenario, the way that it ended, because I had a great time. So, yeah, it was not the worst first date, other than the stood up part, but it still was pretty great.
Yeah, I feel like there's always this moment where you get stood up where you're just like all of your insecurities come out and then, you're like, actually, it's fine. Like I'm bummed, but like it's actually fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
My half of the research I did is like, there's that whole thing on TikTok where women are talking about like places that they will not go on a first date. And yeah. And I understand some of them. And some of them I'm like, I would under certain circumstances. So like half of these are like chains, like Red Lobster, Cheesecake Factory, Olive Garden, whatever.
Okay, fine.
The movies is on this list.
Oof.
Any fast food chain, that's a given. There are certain situations where I would accept that, but I will explain. But yeah, like a buffet, absolutely not. The gym, also absolutely not. I am with their church. No, also because I don't go to church, but also coffee dates. I was like, I would be fine with. I would prefer a coffee date because then I can get it over with in the morning and then I can go about my business. Um, a movie night at your house. Again, that's don't call it a date if that's what if that's what we're doing.
I agree with that one.
Nightclubs, also true. Bowling, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind going bowling. I like bowling. Anywhere that requires a long drive. Again, I will say if it's a first date, I probably wouldn't. But like if I was still living in Missouri where Sarah lives, you don't you if you want to go somewhere fun for a date, sometimes you have like minimum you're going to have to drive like 30 minutes. Like there's just no
So
way around it.
I'm gonna add to this because I had this conversation with my buddy Adam, because we were talking about the whole first date thing, and Adam had a phenomenal response. He said because of where we live, he's like, nah, fuck the like not necessarily the movie portion, but he was like, on a first date, get your ass in the car, drive to St. Louis, go to a hockey game or a baseball game or something where you are together, in the car, where you're in an enclosed space where you're kind of like forced to have conversation. And then you go to like an event, a movie, a museum, something that you are kind of like, you are immersing yourself in an experience, and then you have to drive home. That right there are so many flags to figure out: green, red, yellow, orange, whatever. There are so many flags to like
Mhm.
figure out, like, can I road trip with this person? Solid point. Solid point, because I road trip all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Can
Mhm.
I bear a 2 or 3 hour event like a baseball game, like a football game, like a hockey game?
Mhm.
That's a fucking phenomenal tell, right? Also, like,
Yeah.
is this person, do they pregame? Do they drink? Do they spend too much money or not enough money? Like, do they, like, where do the levels lie, right? So there's all of these different things. I thought he
Does their
brought
car have air conditioning?
yes. How much, and we talked about this a little bit. How much shit do they have in their car?
Yeah.
But like,
Mhm.
there are so, and I think it's a valid point, but like, on a first date, that's what you want to do. But like, for me, I like the adventure of it. I like the spontaneity. I like what kind of music do you listen
Mhm.
to in the car? Do you sing in the car? Do you,
Yes.
like, there are so many things to consider for that specific type of scenario. So I will digress, but do continue. Do continue.
Yeah, but that's essentially like there were some other things where it was like no sporting events. And I'm like, I don't love like I am not a sports person, but like if I'm with someone and they really like this sport, like things that I really enjoy is being around people that are passionate about stuff, whether that's in a romantic
Yes.
sense or not. Like when my husband comes home and he's talking about something that he really likes or he's really good at, like I really enjoy that conversation. Or like I'm talking to someone like my sister, she does a lot of the younger one, my sister Emma, she does a lot of event services. So she has a coffee cart and she's really good at making coffee and she like talks about, or she's also a fire dancer. So she has like a hula hoop with like flames on it. It's very cool.
That's legit.
And she like talks about that and like all the different things that she does. So it's just really, so if you're a person and you're like telling me like something that you're really interested in or like you really like baseball, I don't know anything about baseball. I don't even know all the rules. I, I could not tell you the name of a single baseball player. Babe Ruth, that's the only one that I know. But if we go to a baseball game and you're like explaining it to me or like really interested in it and like, like we're talking about other things other than just baseball, like that's different. But yeah, if you're just there being like, shh. Also, again, as previously stated, I'm a fucking yapper. So if you expect me to be quiet for 2 hours in a row, you are going to be sorely mistaken because that sounds terrible.
See, and I sports is not my norm. It's not my normal thing. Now I fucking love me some hockey. But like, going to sporting events is my jam. I don't care if I know nothing about it. I love the experience of being there and like soaking in the people and the event itself and like getting sunburned and like enjoying. Like I just like I enjoy it, right? But sitting down and watching the TV for 3 hours for a sporting event is not my idea of a fun time. Nope.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not going to watch it on TV with you.
No. Now, like Super Bowl Sunday, that's a fucking event. I'm not going to pay for tickets to go to the fucking Super Bowl, but if I'm going to someone's house or inviting people to my house and we're just going to enjoy and watch it, okay, like, got it. That's a huge American event. Welcome to the show. But beyond that, that's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I will say I agree with bowling. I fucking love me a good bowling date because it's physical and it's fun and you can drink or eat or you can not do those things and you can just enjoy and converse and like I love that kind of thing. And I will disagree with you on this, but going to the gym on a first date, ooh, especially if he is like teaching me something. Woo! Because you're getting sweaty, you're learning from the other person, you are pumping up. You know, like you're I really like that. That's obviously not your thing, but send it for me. That's fine.
Yeah, I would absolutely hard pass. I would not do that. I would be, now that I know that about you, if I'm ever in a situation where a guy asks me on a date and asks me to go to the gym, I will be slightly less offended that he even asked. But
1 for 6.
yeah. But I also like bottom line is like a good, I guess for me, the hottest thing you can do as a guy is be interesting and put in effort.
Amen.
Like if there's like, oh, we've been texting for a week and I remember you said you wanted to go to this coffee place, let's go there. Totally fine. Absolutely excellent. If I'm like, because my favorite pastime has not changed since I was like 16, and that is listening to emo music, driving around in my car.
Yes.
If you do that, if you're like, hey, let's play DJ for an hour, I would be like, great, perfect. That's the best thing ever. Also, if you let me be the DJ and the passenger princess, and you're like, ooh, you have such good taste in music, I'm gonna be like, thank you.
That's it.
That's the best compliment. That's the best compliment I've ever received from anybody. From anybody. If they're like, wow, you have really good taste in music, I'm like,
Well,
because
first of
we said
all,
this literally on the last episode, I think.
yes.
We are both music people. We are both huge music people. And not only that, but we're like Chapel Roan to like I Prevail and like literally everything in between. Like, give me everything. So when someone's like, wow, like you have really good taste in music, I'm like, oh my God, thanks.
There's also the other side of my personality that when someone says, oh my God, you have great taste in music, I'm like, thanks, I know. Like it's so bad. Oh my God. Erika, I have a nail appointment 8 minutes ago. She's texting me right now.
Go.
Okay.
Go.
Quickly, let's 2 minutes. Okay. So have you had a chance to listen to that song by the Home Team that I sent you?
The which one? The Will You Walk This World With Me?
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh.
I've had that song on repeat. If
Yes.
If there are any men that listen to this, I highly doubt it. But if you have feelings for somebody, send them that song. Please.
That song was sent to me and I cried the first time because I was just like in my feels and I was still kind of sick. Amazing. Second of all, I also have had it on repeat multiple times this week.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And listeners, again, we've had a couple people send us music, but if you send us music, I will throw it out there in the episode because we both, huge music people, absolutely love that. On a secondaries comment, emo music is like the jam. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to follow us on socials. And if you can like and comment on anything across wherever you listen or anything like that, that helps us so much. And send us music recommendations and book recommendations and send this to anyone that you think would like it. And we love you. Bye.
Definitely. Yeah. If you guys check out any of the shorts that we are posting in the last couple of weeks, we we have quite a bit of new content coming out. And then if by chance you happen to send this episode to a friend, that would be super. If you're not already subscribed, that would also be super. If you kind of hit that subscribe button, just go. It's pretty easy. But in general, thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.